Driving for dollars, what I was doing in the early stages was simply hopping in the car, driving into neighborhoods where I might want to buy, and start looking for houses that look abandoned. Now, how do you know a house is abandoned? Well, it's pretty simple, right? The lawn is overgrown. You got weeds that are, 4 or 5 feet tall. It's a pretty good sign, right? They subscribe to a newspaper, but they haven't been home to pick up said newspaper in 2 years, but the paper boy doesn't care. He's like, whatever.
That's a lot of paper stacked up.
It's just stacked up. This big pile of papers, right? The windows may be busted out. You can see signs that nobody's living in that property. And I can tell you, that is a sign of a motivated seller. Because what are we in the business of here when we're looking to purchase a home as a wholesaler? What's your primary product, Jonathan? What do you think?
I mean, ultimately, you're looking for those motivated sellers because you have to find deals, and you can get a better deal if the person is more inclined to sell.
Absolutely. I'm going to take that a step further. The only way to get a deal in the real estate market is to find a motivated seller.
Check, 1 2 1 2.
Turn it up.
Welcome to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast.
The tides are turning. The time is now.
Your home for the mindset, methodology, and tools needed to invest in foreclosures.
Don't you dare buy a house. Buy a deal. You need to get into this right now.
Yeah.
And now your host, the Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donny Corum.
Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. I am your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donny Corum, broadcasting live from our downtown Denver studios with my executive producer and the guy that makes this show sound just so good, Mr. Jonathan Winston. What's going on, man?
Oh, man, just, trying to maneuver in the studio without bumping into the mic and stuff. But other than that, man, not too much, man. It's been a good week. I got some promising new buyers on my buyers list. Checked out a couple properties that, might be distressed, might be, opportunities to invest in. And, actually worked on a new song today, too, and I'm kind of excited about that. So.
Love that. For those of you guys that don't know, Jonathan is a musician. You got to check out his tracks. He'll post up a link there so you can follow him out there on the Instagram, Facebook world, etc. But
everywhere,
I'm looking
at Sir John Winston. Hit me up.
Yeah, man. Listen to this stuff. It's incredible. You're in for a treat. Hey, let's get to it. First of all, just a little bit of housekeeping. We just crossed the 7,000 listener download mark.
Oh my God!
Seriously, you guys are incredible. It is amazing if you think about this show started. What we started up? What, June? Was it June?
Yeah, June of last year, I believe.
So here we are, a little over a year later, with 7,000 people listening to the show, and just a lot of heartfelt thanks out there. Because if you listen to a lot of podcasts, or even if you own a podcast, you understand this is a big thing. You gotta set out there and get some information out into the universe. You're not sure if anybody's going to listen to, and about for the first year, you're right. Like, nobody's really listening to what you got going, right? And then, if you watch our ratings, the system that's happened over the last couple of months, really, it's just taken off into proportions we could not have predicted. So once again, want to thank you guys, the devout listeners of Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast.
We love you.
Thank you. Keep listening, keep shipping out, sharing the episodes, keep spreading the mission of helping people not to buy a house, but buy a great deal here in the marketplace. With that, let's get to our news of the week here. You're going to love this one, Jay. Check this out.
Okay.
Buyers, according to Realtor Magazine now, okay, buyers tired of home shortcomings want to trade up.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that's a good question. See, when the house, right before the pandemic hit, okay, just in general, prices have been really high lately. I don't know if you guys have been shopping for homes, but if you have been, like I know, that we're probably as overpriced as we've ever been in the history of real estate right at this moment, okay? So you got a bunch of people who were buying homes in the last couple of years or so who had to make some compromises. And it's funny because when I was in the retail real estate side, like Jonathan is now, you're always dealing with buyers who think they're going to get the 6,000 square foot house and the helicopter landing pad with the private pool on a budget of about $280. You know what I mean?
Far-fetched.
It's a little far-fetched, right? But in a market that's increasing, that's what happens. Well, now these buyers who figured out if they bought a home, everybody settles, okay? So don't feel bad if you feel like you didn't get exactly the house that you want, because no matter if you're buying any house, I'll give you an example, Taj Mahal, right? Probably one of the most gorgeous real estate ever built. The problem is it's the middle of a damn desert, right? So location, right? If 30,000 square feet, but it's in the middle of a damn desert, right? So there is no perfect real estate. With that in mind, these buyers settled a little bit, right? So people were searching in lower price ranges, and now they're going, man, I really want what I want, and I'm going to get it. You couple that with a coronavirus sort of stranding you into your property for weeks and months on end. Let's face it, if you're doing the right thing right now, you're spending way more time at home than you usually do, right? I know I am, and I'm going nuts right now.
Stir crazy
A bit, because it's getting lonely here. You know, they're just kind of tucked in. And then you add interest rates dropping to all-time lows. I heard, you're not going to believe this, I heard a 15-year mortgage locked in at 1.75%.
What?
Yeah. 2%, under 2% for a 15-year fixed mortgage, okay? The combination of all of this, according to this article, is buyers are looking to trade upwards. Now, this is good and bad at the same time. On one hand, if you are a real estate investor or you want to be, now, I repeat, now is the time to get in. When consumerism is driving the market, consumerism being defined as bigger, better, and badder. Okay, I also read that Lamborghini is getting more sales than ever right now. Okay, so if we're in some kind of crisis financially, why are buyers trading up? Because interest rates are down. Okay, because tax rates have been cut for self-employed people. Because despite the attempt of the coronavirus to ruin, if you will, the American spirit, our economy is doing better than it ever has before. So if you are a real estate investor and or real estate investor minded, now is the time to get in, because these buyers want what they want and they are prepared to pay to get it at pretty much any and all cost right now. Will it last? No, because here's the bad news. Buyers who are driven by consumerism will overpay even more so than we thought they were overpaying a year or two ago, right? So prices continue to increase. What happens to a market that just keeps going up, up, up?
I mean, there's nowhere else for it to go after that, right?
But down.
Gotta go down.
Right? See, and that's the thing. You have to know this. And I here's the thing about being a foreclosure analysis, right? I clock is wrong at least twice a day, right? And I'm going to be right eventually. Like, as it sits today, like, I'm not telling you we're in a foreclosure market. I'm saying that all signs are pointing to heading that direction.
Right.
And I think accepting that reality and investing with that in mind is just intelligent business right now. You've got to be looking at this market as a market that is topping out or is nearing the top if it's not already at the top. Will we see a correction? Absolutely. Will we see a market collapse? I doubt it. Okay, but not in the near future anyway. But eventually it has to happen. So if you're buying, don't buy at the top of the market. Don't be one of these buyers looking to overpay, but rather find yourself a deal in the marketplace and then sell that deal at the very top of the market, or enjoy the equity spread that it builds up by buying the right deal, not the right house. Okay, with that in mind, today we're talking about driving for dollars.
Oh, okay.
And how it makes me holler.
Oh, wow.
Is that too much?
I mean, I think it's par for course for the show.
I wanted a catchy title, though. I feel like driving for dollars makes me holler. So that's why we titled the show that way, right?
Well, yeah, okay, we'll see.
All right, we're here now. You know, so so what is driving for dollars? Okay, there are a couple of ways to go out there and find deals in the real estate marketplace. And if you're doing research, like I know Jonathan's working on his wholesaling business, we've got people who've come on the show. Derek, who came on talking about how he's built his wholesaling business.
Love that episode.
A great episode. Check that one out if you haven't. But there are multiple ways to get deals into the pipeline, but most of the marketing systems out there require money. That's actually the key element to all marketing. You put money in, it outputs a desired output, which in this case, you're doing wholesaling leads. We buy houses for cash leads that turn into people who want to sell their property, okay? That is one way to skin that cat. But I talk to a lot of people who are getting started, this may describe you, who I want to do this, but I'm broke. right? I'm barely getting by as is. And I will never forget, here's a little anecdote for you. I'm in the retail real estate side of the world, and I had to put up $400 to buy Google pay-per-click ads for my real estate business. Now, I didn't have to, I guess, but I decided I was going to transition from a prospecting-based agent to a marketing-based agent, and I started spending money on marketing at a time where $400 meant the world to me. Right? It was a lot of money to give up. So I went ahead, I placed the ads, I learned about Google pay-per-click, I did all this myself, I turned on some ads, and I went to bed. The next morning, I wake up, and lo and behold, there's 2 leads, not one, but two people
leads
inquiring about properties from my website. And I was so excited. Right? This is going to be it. It's going to change my life. It's going to be awesome. So I took one of the 2 buyers out. I'm out shopping with properties. I called them right away, which you have to in all marketing systems. Speed to lead is critical. So you get them on the phone right away if it's a buyer or a seller and you want to get into that house if you're trying to buy it, and you want to get them out looking at houses if you're trying to sell them a house. Whatever it is, you got to do it fast. Okay, that's critical. So I'm out there looking at properties and another lead comes in. And I'm like, uh-oh. Right? On one hand, my lead system's working great. On the other hand, if you can't control when the leads come in, you don't know when you're going to be able to follow up. I instantly saw this going to be an issue. That led to hiring an inside sales rep, which led to hiring a whole team of inside sales reps, which led to building a team of 12 agents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? The point of sharing this story with you, there is another way. If you don't have a ton of money, you can't spend a bunch of money on marketing right at the moment because you're just getting started. One way to go out there and build a pipeline of potential deals is what we refer to as driving for dollars. Now, driving for dollars, here's the essence of it, okay? In every market, there are assets that don't look that great that you can buy under market. I know you listen to these things and your first instinct, when I remember hearing wholesaling ads, well, there's no deals in my market. Let me tell you right now, there are deals in every single market in the United States of America, unquestionably, because in order for there to be the top of the market, there must by design be a bottom of the market, right? In order for there to be good, there must be evil. In order for there to be black, there must be white. Okay, so at the end of the day, the opposites have to exist. The market's very high, so by definition, there are things that are priced below market. Does that make sense? Yeah. So first thing we got to do is change that mindset. There are no deals in my market, because there are. I guarantee it. You just haven't looked yet.
Hi, this is Donny Corum, your foreclosure deals coach. One of the things we talk about on the show is the importance of great foreclosure data in helping you to find a great deal on a foreclosure property. But where do you find this data? You're certainly not going to find it on Realtor.com. You can't get it on your local MLS. So we have partnered with data provider Foreclosures.com to get you the latest and greatest in foreclosure listings right there in your local market. These properties are not hit the market in most cases, and when they have been foreclosed, gives you easy access to find out more detail so you can get the best deal on a foreclosure property. Getting started is super easy. Head on out to foreclosuredealscoach.com and click on the link labeled foreclosure list. Enter your zip code for a free 7-day trial of the best foreclosure listing data available in your local market. These properties are not even on the market yet, so you can get a jump on them and get a great deal. Once again, this is Donny Corum, your foreclosure deals coach. We'll look forward to seeing you there.
So I'm going to help you to look today. Driving for dollars, what I was doing in the early stages was simply hopping in the car, driving into neighborhoods where I might want to buy, and start looking for houses that look abandoned. Now, how do you know a house is abandoned? Well, it's pretty simple, right? The lawn is overgrown. You got weeds that are, 4 or 5 feet tall. It's a pretty good sign, right? They subscribe to a newspaper, but they haven't been home to pick up said newspaper in 2 years, but the paper boy doesn't care. He's like, whatever.
That's a lot of paper stacked up.
It's just stacked up. This big pile of papers, right? The windows may be busted out. You can see signs that nobody's living in that property. And I can tell you, that is a sign of a motivated seller. Because what are we in the business of here when we're looking to purchase a home as a wholesaler? What's your primary product, Jonathan? What do you think?
Ultimately, you're looking for those motivated sellers because you have to find deals, and you can get a better deal if the person is more inclined to sell.
Absolutely. I'm going to take that a step further. The only way to get a deal in the real estate market is to find a motivated seller.
Okay.
Okay, people who just want to sell, like I'm currently in a property that's a $1.2 million flip in Highlands Ranch, okay, and I want to sell it, right? But I'm not motivated to sell it. You see the variable there?
Yeah.
If you come up to me and offer me significantly less than the $1.2 million purchase price that I'm looking for, I'm going to tell you to go pound sand. Right? Because I just remodeled it. It's nice. It's gorgeous. And I'm okay living here, right? I'm comfortable in that property because it's a nice house. We fixed it up. I'm comfortable. I am the opposite on this property of a motivated seller, right? Your motivated seller has a reason he wants to get rid of said property. And in this case, if it's vacant, sitting there with overgrown weeds, got newspapers piled up to the roof, right, and there's deferred maintenance, I can promise you a lot of these people are just waiting for that phone call, you, to make sure that they can get rid of this property. They want to find a way out, okay? You don't know exactly when that motivation lines up, so your key is to do this on a large volume. So you're driving for dollars, and the Propstream app, which you can download at dealhunter.io, is perfect for this because you can go drive around the neighborhood, pick your area, if you will, and then do an instant analysis on the property to determine who owns it, right? You may not get their contact information, but you can order skip tracing from Propstream so you can locate their contact info, and then you're reaching out to them either by mail or preferably by phone call. But in today's day and age, Facebook's a possibility. You're trying to make contact with them, and this is what you're saying. I saw the property at 1234 Main Street, wherever it happens to be. Looks like it needs some work. I'm an investor looking to pay cash to purchase a property in the neighborhood. Would you be interested in selling the property, right? So driving for dollars is the essence of producing real estate leads with investing your time rather than investing your cash.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you got to have a system for it, like anything else. You can't just humdrum every now and then I'm going to drive for dollars. If you're going to do this, I want you to commit today to getting in your car and driving for dollars 1 hour a day or a grand total of 5 hours a week, right? 2 hours here, 2 hours there. You're noting the addresses on Propstream of all the properties that you think may want a cash buyer involved because the house looks like crap, in essence.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to reach out to them. If you were doing that consistently, I promise you, I absolutely promise you, you're going to find yourself doing wholesale deals. Okay, but if you talk about driving for dollars, because I remember when I first was introduced to that model, it is way more conversational because it just seems so easy, right?
You just hop in, man. You turn on the lead. You got a little radio. You might do some mobile education to listen to a good book while you're driving, and
Absolutely,
and then do it. Right? It's that
use
easy.
that, but you got to commit to doing it, right? And so few people will commit. That commitment is what's missing, right? I want you to commit to a set amount of time. My advice to you, foreclosure deals coach to wanna-be investor or even established investor, put in 5 hours a week of driving for dollars. Do it on a schedule so it's not an accidental thing, right? You want to be able to absolutely positively predict your results. You want to find X amount of properties during that time that you're going to be working on, okay? Because it's not just the driving for dollars part. You then have to do the skip tracing. Yep. You then got to track down that seller. There's a process going in there, but its lead in is the amount of time that you invest. Okay, and you're going to get very good. I'm going to tell you now, if you drive for dollars consistently, you're going to get very good at spotting vacant properties. You're going to get very effective at it. Like any other skill set, if you do this consistently, it's going to feel weird at first, right? You're going to feel like it's a waste of time about the second hour in when you haven't found anything yet. But I want you to commit to sticking with it because you're going to find that deal that you can lock up. We're just going to use fictional numbers here, right? On a property you can lock up for $200,000, $200,000. That's worth $280,000, and you're going to call a cash buyer investor like me or a ton of other people who are in the business in your market anywhere in the country and go, I have this property. It's yours for $215,000.
Come on, dude. That's a great deal.
And just like that, you made $15,000. Right? No marketing, no out of pocket. All you invested was the one thing you have. Let's face it, you have it. If you're listening to this show right now, between your episodes of Netflix binging and yada, yada, you got time to do this. So don't tell me you don't, right? Get your butt up, get out there, do some driving for dollars, and produce some leads. Okay, you will become an expert on certain areas. You will start to notice things that are changing. And what's really great, if you get super proficient at it, you'll see the properties going down in value. Like I was driving for dollars through a neighborhood in Colorado Springs called Pikes Peak Park for years. I don't mean days or months, I mean years. I would drive up and down certain streets of that neighborhood, and I watched properties that when I first saw them looked all right.
So that's cool.
I think about 6 months later, not looking so all right anymore. Looks like that lawn's going. 9 months in, it's become pretty apparent the once tenant that lived in that property was gone. And by a year later, I was buying that property. This is long ball, guys. This is a career. This is not a hobby. Okay, and I want to make that crystal clear. Driving for dollars is going to be a quintessential part of your career, and maybe for many of you, the only way to get started in real estate investing. It might be the only way you can get started. Don't let that ruin your dream here. It's actually a really effective lead source because you're on the ground. You're directly in front of the property. You've got more data than any other investor out there who's not driving for dollars because you have physically seen that house. You've seen the deferred maintenance. You've seen the lawn being overgrown, and now you're taking the time to do the private investigation work, aka skip tracing, to track down that person and see if you can help them with a problem. You're not looking to take advantage of anybody, but help them with a problem, which is this property that over time is just going to get worse. Because what happens to a vacant property if you just leave it alone for long enough?
Man, who knows who's going to be in there? You might get some squatters. You might have kids running around breaking out windows, but all of that just means it's just going to continue to go down in value.
Absolutely. So a smart seller or a motivated smart seller is going to realize that if I get rid of this now, I'm actually going to make more money than I'll let this go another year. Okay? People die every single day. It's an unfortunate reality of life. You know, you've got kids who inherit these properties. They sit years, months at a time because they don't know what to do with them. You're there to solve a problem. Right? And if while you're driving for dollars, you are on the front lines of that problem. You're facing the problem head on, a problem that they themselves may not have seen in years. Maybe they rented it out, moved out of state. They don't even know what this looks like anymore. Right? When you send them photos of how bad this property is, I've had sellers who are literally in tears. Oh man, they got it that bad. Yeah, they really did. I'm so sorry. That's the bad news. The good news is I can make this go away for you right now. Right? You're not going to make as much money on it as you would fixing it up, right? But you can solve the problem. And instantly that person goes from I didn't know I had a problem to a motivated seller. It happens just like that, right? And you're solving someone's problem. So get out there, start driving for dollars. But to get started, you're going to want to make sure you can do your research on that property right there from the field. So in order to do that, you're going to want to go to dealhunter.io. Download the Propstream app. It comes with a 7-day free trial. And listen, guys, I push Propstream a lot because I believe everybody asks, how do I get started in this investing space? If you talk to me about coaching, etc., how to get into this, the first thing I'm going to tell you is become a deal hunter by heading out to dealhunter.io. Downloading the app and getting started, because nothing else is quite as important as getting started there. Then, because if you don't have any money outside of the Propstream subscription, you're going to have to drive for dollars. You're going to have to. There's another technology we're going to talk about, writing yellow letters, which are handwritten letters you can leave on the property, telling them that you're interested in buying them. There are other really low cost, if not completely free, marketing methods to bring that in. But the key is just to get started. You got to get going. Right? So that's our time for today. We went over driving for dollars because I think it's so critical with people who are trying to get their first deal underneath their belt. If that describes you, get the Propstream app and get started. That's a good way to do it. In the meantime, you need education. You need information. And obviously, you've taken a big first step by being on listening to the show right now. That's critical. But from there, you need to be out there getting face-to-face with deals and doing analysis. Okay? So what the big part of the coaching product that we offer is coaching you through doing your first deal beginning to end, finding, funding, fixing, and flipping your first deal. But if you're not ready for coaching because you haven't done anything yet, your first step is going to be to get the data you need to start understanding how to crunch that data through Propstream and by driving for dollars to find the best deals out there. Does that help?
That helps a lot.
Absolutely. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Listen, guys, I want to thank you for signing up for the show. If you want to become a part of the Insiders, Foreclosure Deals Coach Insiders, we have the Facebook group, Foreclosure Deals Coach Insider. It will be posted to the show notes here. And lots going on, some great topics being covered. Once again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the listenership, for sharing the show, for getting the message out there. We've got so much more to teach and so much more to do, and you're a huge part of it, the listener to the show. With that, this is Donny Corum, your Foreclosure Deals Coach, reminding you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.
Want more of the Foreclosure Deals Coach? Hit subscribe and stay tuned for more of the mindset, methodology, and tools you'll need to invest in foreclosures. Visit foreclosuredealscoach.com and text DEAL to get a list of foreclosures in your area.